Yes, sir. Shaq Talk Stocks. We back another day, another video. All right. So episode 2 on ish they didn't teach us in high school. Why you may owe on your taxes this year, right? Um, if you didn't know, if you were under a rock, like most of us was while we were watching the Dog and Pony Show, you might not know about this bill that Trump signed in 2017 called the Tax Cuts and Job Act, right? Passed in 2017, basically made its way into effect in about 2019, made several significant changes to the individual income tax. Now, this is the reason you see certain people moving out of New York, where the income tax rate is high, right? Moving to Florida, Texas, all in places, right? Like Elon Musk, I think he moved to like Arizona or somewhere in the desert, Texas or something like that. These changes include a nearly double standardized deduction, new limitations on itemized deductions, reduced income tax rates, and reform several other provisions, right? So don't bank on that refund yet. April tax season may come as a surprise. Now, also, the income that you're getting from those unemployment checks, you got to pay taxes on that because it's an income. Changes also the stimulus check, you do not pay taxes on that. I thought you did, or they say you don't. The changes to the federal tax act under the Tax Cut Job Act means many people who didn't update their W-4 forms likely had a less tax withheld from each paycheck. So you got a bigger check in 2019. You got more in your paycheck in 2020. So which is the reason you might owe now, right? So many who lost their work due to the word went on unemployment and will owe taxes on their benefits too. So if you're counting on a tax refund, you could be sorely disappointed this year by its filing season. A new W-4 form, not W-2, W-4, which is basically a form you're supposed to, anytime you lose your job or there's a time lapse in your income, you're supposed to update the form. And they say the form is crazy hard to fill out for a reason. And you're supposed to adjust it so that you don't end up owing too much and you can get back a decent refund, right? But we're going to say the pandemic dominated 2020 may have millions of Americans receiving a smaller refund or even owing money to this government this year. So I've already seen people upset that they owe money and they're not understanding why they're not getting back money this year. This tax dude said right in Florida. He expects to shoulder much of the blame for his disappointing clients. So dudes that's doing taxes, they getting blamed, but the clients not really understanding why they owe taxes, right? I'm dreading this tax season, he said, because two major factors could spoil the springtime refund euphoria. The first is the new W-4 form introduced under the Tax Cut Job Act, like I just told you about in the beginning, that governs withholding from employees' paycheck. After a one-year implementation delay in 2019, I ain't gonna say what I think. After 1 year implementation delay in 2019, the major changes in the new form took full effect last year, and could be a shock for many taxpayers. I hate this new form, because mostly it's not the old form. This dude that preps taxes for a firm, right? It has confused a lot of people. Now, this is the classic. I want to say in the mid game they switch up from a curveball to a fastball, right? So you got to keep up. The new form was intended to minimize refunds and have withholdings more accurately affect people's ultimate tax liabilities. In other words, many taxpayers took home slightly bigger paychecks last year at the expense of the refund this spring. So that's a goal theoretically, as refunds are essentially interest-free loans to the government. However, this dude believes that many people will fail to appreciate the bigger take-home pay because they already spent it and really missed the refund in April. The withholding tax is the equivalent of a savings vehicle for many people, particularly lower-income taxpayers, he said. We'll be doing a lot of tirade explaining to people who are in this situation. So the unemployment checks that you're receiving because you're out of work, right? The second biggest item could surprise people is unemployment benefits that they receive. While this whole pandemic was going on, stimulus payments were tax free. The enhanced unemployment benefits were not. So if you've been buying crab legs with your unemployment check, just know that them crab legs come with taxes on it, man. Employees who were laid off or furloughed for a period and drew unemployment benefits faced the biggest issue. Numbers from the Labor Department showed that 13.4 million people are receiving unemployment benefits last September, and the number remained high throughout the year. The withholding from tax from unemployment benefits is voluntary at the state and federal level, and many states, by default, withhold very little taxes. People who never collected unemployment benefits before were doing it last year, and in most cases, there's no withholding. I know people that's kind of snitching on the campfire, but they working less hours and but they're still under the threshold and they're still getting the unemployment benefits, and they think they're getting away. I had to tell a dude that ain't nothing. You ain't getting away with nothing, man. The invisible people are real. That means many taxpayers are liable for taxes on the benefits that they're getting now. It could eat up most of the refund they might have otherwise expected, and combined with lower withholdings per the new form, more people may have send checks to Uncle Sam in April. So, if you like most people, I want to say, you're going to be paying the government this year, man. I'm sitting down with my sports clients because this will be a problem and a shock to a lot of them. So, on them big checks, that's the reason you're not getting your check.